care waters, but I'm not. But so what? Where's it going to get the information to make the diaphragm work? We're going to find, well, we've got the two areas. We've got the brain and the, remember what other part? Control stuff? Brain stem. Brain stem. Okay? We're going to find there's actually a control center for respiration. And it's going to be connected with that phrenic nerve, and it's going to let you breathe, which is kind of cool. The brachial plexus, upper limb, shoulder, neck. And this one, we find the median nerve. That one is involved with carpal tunnel. Anybody in here ever had carpal tunnel? No, that's not fun. The lumbar plexus, oh my goodness. Abdominal wall, anterior thigh, which a lot of people kind of, you would think, wait a minute, lumbar, isn't that kind of my back? Well, abdominal wall, anterior thigh, genitalia. My sacral plexus is the rest of my lower trunk and lower limb. Okay? For example, you might hear a lot of people talk about, oh man, my sciatica and stuff's messing up, you know? And yeah, okay, because those nerves, when we talk about those nerves, through here, huge, huge. And, a lot of bone that gets compressed. And in general, how many of y'all make sure that every time you sit, walk, or whatever, that you are in your perfect form or alignment? No, okay? Because for the most part, we're just going to come in, okay? Go to veg on the sofa, okay? So chances are we're not paying attention. Every time we do that, though, we take that off of alignment and you put pressure on those nerves. Get to be my age, whew, comes back to haunt you. The coccygeal, just like it says, the coccygeal area. A lot of times if you take a hard fall or something like that, you can either, some people might say, I broke my coccygeal bone, when really all you did was you fell hard enough to make it not be as curved. Okay, I guess, technically I guess it could really get broken. But either way, if it gets really broken, or if you just kind of made it straighten out rather than be curved, it's painful. You got to walk around with that little donut, sit on that donut everywhere you go, you know. So, yeah. Now, those plexuses that we have, once again, now, in part 1, did you talk about sensory organs in the joints? Golgi tendon, for example, proprioceptors, when we think about the skeletal system, muscular system, tendons, ligaments, the goal, keep our body upright so that we do not damage inner portions. I mean, you take enough falls and hits to the head, for example, and begin to get like concussion, that leads to serious problems with that brain tissue itself. So the overall goal is to make sure we keep our upright stance to keep the body, because if you think about it, what is the overall goal of a species? Note I'm saying species, okay? Well, to live, procreate, reproduce, propagate the species, okay? Can't do that if things are damaged. So what we're going to see is that in bones, joints, muscles, we have specialized structures that pick up on our place in space. Proprioception. Our place in space. Are we upright? Are we sitting? Are we twirling? Are we tumbling? Are we going up an elevator, down an elevator, upstairs, down the stairs? Are we moving forward in a car, moving backward in a car? Have any of y'all ever, were any of y'all here when the older elevators were in for rentals? No? Nobody was here for the older elevators? You were? Okay, you were? Did you ever get on that elevator, like say on the first floor, and then as you're going up that elevator, somebody might have needed to get off at second floor, third floor, fifth floor, and then you finally got to the sixth floor, and by the time you got to the sixth floor and you stepped off that elevator, were you still like, okay, that's proprioception. And what was happening is the body, because the information being picked up wasn't getting processed quick enough to keep you from feeling that way. So it took you a few seconds after you got off that elevator to make you feel like you weren't still on the elevator. Okay? You know, a lot of people like that feeling.
Is it also like when you're in a very, for me, I'm scared of heights.
Oh.
So when you go and then your brain is like,
yes.
Is that okay?
Yes. Mainly because not only proprioception, but that also comes to our equilibrium. Okay? I don't go past a second step on the ladder. Nah. I don't like heights.
Okay. Is it a defense mechanism?
Yes. Yes, it is a defense mechanism to keep us, but some people kind of like those feelings, those adrenaline people, okay, and they like to get on those rides that kind of do blank, and roll over and do this number and all this sort of stuff, and I could be like standing there watching the ride and I'm going, I can't do that because my proprioception is not quick enough, okay, so we need to make sure we keep up with that information to keep our bodies upright.
Does that also tie in with vertigo?
The equilibrium of the ears does. And that actually is going to fall under special senses, because it used to be that we had 5, and then they added equilibrium, mainly because of structures in the inner ear that we have learned about. And so that is a 6th special sense now. And that comes into play with vertigo.
But you were saying that you would feel kind of like sick and shaky getting off of the... Okay, so they are tied together, but at a different level. Okay.
Yes. So the motor function from these nerve plexuses is to help stimulate muscle contraction so that we do maintain our correct position. So in those plexi, if we were to break them down, this would be the breakdown of the cervical section, and how it would look. Here is the plex. See how we've got the joining together? And whenever we've got the joining together, that makes the plexus. Okay? So we can see here the joining or the making up of the phrenic nerve, which does play an important part. This is our brachial plexus. Sometimes people can get compression in this area. I told y'all about it getting deadened for me at the time of surgery. Did I tell y'all about that? Okay. And that was the area that they went into and poked around on those nerves. Now that wasn't fun, when they had that needle poking around to try to make sure they deadened the right one, to make my whole arm and my hand go numb. But that is serving the upper arm, parts of the trunk and so forth. But look how tough that is. That's huge for those nerves. Lumbar plexus, oh my goodness, and talk about huge, okay, for these nerves. And do you remember how I said there can actually be nerves that are really long? This is where that comes into play, okay, because some of those nerves, that actual axon can be up to 3 feet long. That's huge, okay? The sacral and the coccygeal, which lead to like some of the pain running down the leg. It could lead to like people who sit too long, for example, that sort of thing. Nerve injuries, ones that are going to be very common, ones that you're probably going to see with patients. In the upper arm, you'll probably see radial nerve injuries. People actually, upper arm, tons of different injuries that you'll probably see related to the nerves. The carpal tunnel, the trigger finger that I had, okay, that sort of thing. But in some cases, have you ever known somebody who had to be on crutches for a long time? Or have y'all ever had to be on crutches? No? Okay. Did you have to be on them for like a long time?
6 weeks.
Ooh, okay. And did they ever feel like you were just like, I just can't stand it under my arms anymore, and you do everything you could to try to make it softer and everything?
Yeah, I bought these little foam things from Amazon that go over the top of them.
Did it help? Probably helped for a little bit, but you still just thought, if I got to get up on that crutch one more time, yeah. So crutch paralysis is where it's hitting or putting too much pressure on that nerve. And whenever you do something to injure a nerve, even though it's got a really good blood supply, it takes a while if it's going to recover. Not always does it recover, okay? But if it's going to recover, it takes a while for it to recover, okay? If you've ever injured a nerve in any way, you probably have gone through that. Sciatica. Ever heard of that?
I have a question before we move on. So crutch paralysis, is that only applicable right there, or is that just what it's called whenever you put too much pressure on a certain area?
It could be if you had something else that was causing pressure right there.
But it's always going to be right there.
It's always going to be right there. Yeah. But that sciatica, I can predict the weather really good. Okay? Because like I said, I wish I had known when I was y'all's age a lot of the stuff I know now. Okay? I have took much better care of my body. Okay? But I didn't. All right? You know, and so I pay for it now. And I can predict the weather better than anybody. Okay? I'm so glad today's a nice day. But sciatica, huge. Okay? I know y'all probably are thinking, why do people always say this? Wait till you get to my age. Y'all know how people say that? Because seriously, you do. Things just aren't as great anymore. Okay? So, yeah, sciatica is a big one. A lot of times, it results from a herniated intervertebral disc. Now, let me see. Nope, that one doesn't show it. Anybody in here have a herniated disc? Know anybody that has? Did they have to have surgery? They did. This right here is what they're trying to show us, or tell us. See how they're showing that disc material poking out? The disc material.
That's hernia?
That's a herniated intervertebral, because intervertebral means between two vertebrae, okay? And remember, a disc